All right, well, this is going to be my list for 2026 ice fishing season. It is still currently 2025, but by the time we get out, it will probably be 2026, unfortunately. So, apologies for the poor lighting. I am in my garage, but behind me is all the gear that I will be using for the 2026 ice fishing season. So, I'll start off by kind of most valuable, leave some of the new stuff for later, kind of show you guys what I am working with. So starting off, most valuable, I don't mean monetary, I mean most valuable to me as an angler out on the ice. So with that being said, what I'm going to start off with is these Striker Ice Bibs. So they are the Striker Ice Trekker Bibs. They do have the Sure Float technology in there, so they are very safe, you know, extra fail safe for early ice. Not necessarily needed all the time, but you know, is a nice sure have for extra security. So I will say one thing that is a must have for early ice are ice picks. Get yourself a good pair. They're pretty cheap. These guys are stuck together, but you know, that way if you fall in, boom, pull yourself right back up. You know, very, very important that you use the right safety gear for ice fishing early ice season. It is important, even on any lake, any time of the year. You want to make sure that you know you are being safe. You're checking ice because you know there could be an underwater spring. Who knows? Just want to make sure that you know everybody's safe out there. Everybody has a good time. So next, most valuable thing on the ice is going to be, again, we're going to talk about early ice, a spud bar. Now, Eskimo makes one, pretty much almost every brand makes one, but this is one that my grandpa gave me when I first started out ice fishing. So I take this everywhere with me, early ice, pretty much every time, unless if I know that there's safe ice where we're going. So very crucial to have, checking ice, making sure that you know it takes you a couple hits to get through the ice to make sure you don't fall in. Next up are going to be the boots that I rock. I get very cold feet all the time. These Lacrosse 1600 milligram Alpha Berry Pro boots do the job. They're wonderful. They keep my feet warm. They're very durable. I've had these for 3 or 4 years now. So, you know, they got wear and tear on the toes, but you know, I use them year round. I use them for cold weather hunting. I use them for ice fishing, you know, and if for whatever reason I'm using these in the spring, guess I'm sweaty. Awesome thing to have a good pair of boots. Don't want to be stuck and shivering because your feet are cold. As far as most valuable now goes, I would probably have to say the new HeatHog Heater. So I have recently upgraded last year to the Eskimo 450 XD Shanty. I love this thing. It is the blackout version, so you have the black interior. To me, it doesn't really make a difference, but it's awesome. I love it. Keeps me warm. The only thing is we tend to do a lot of ice camping. So with that being said, I upgraded my heater because for whatever reason we have very poor luck on weather when we go ice camping, and it's typically blowing 40 miles an hour in the negatives. So a good big heater will be a huge upgrade for this year. Even just, you know, cold windy day, you want to put the shack up, you know, this thing you can run on low on one side, you can run it on high on one side, you can run both of them. It's great, it's awesome. And if you don't know, with the HeatHog, what's nice about these versus the, you know, Mr. Buddy heaters is that it tilts. So you get, I want to say it's 30 degrees of tilt. I'll show you a little bit more right there. 30 degrees of tilt. Really nice feature there. So, you know, it kind of helps you push the hot air around, and, you know, it also disperses it underneath. But very nice, very happy to be adding this to the arsenal this ice fishing season. So now the next thing that I am pretty excited about, this is new again this year as well, is a good compact chair. So this is one of those chairs that are kind of, you know, very popular in the internet space right now. folds up to literally just this. The whole chair is in here, and it turns into a full-size chair. I'm not gonna open it up and take it with you, but it is the Moon, I wanna say it's the Moon Lounge camping chair off Amazon, 40 bucks. Perfect for packing up when you're going out on the ice fishing all day, ice camping, safe space, still get to be comfortable. Next up on the list is right behind me, this Jackery 290 portable station. So this actually came in clutch many times, whether it's putting a little bit extra charge on the Garmin Livescope, or if it is charging my phone, charging some lights that are going on, or I could even just straight up power lights because it's got USB and a AC outlet. So very cool, very nice have for ice camping, just being out on the ice. Getting into this big boy back here. Again, this is the Eskimo 450 XD. It is awesome, pretty, lightweight. Anybody can really move this thing. The Shanty's super nice. I already put it away. But Shanty's super nice. I can fit 2 people in there ice camping. It's great, it's awesome. I do have floor mats that I do bring. Those are stored up in the rafters right now, but I lay those out for when we're ice camping. That way you're not walking in a puddle of water the entire time. So now, pretty typical for the ice angler is to have an ice scoop. This is the ice scoop. Had this for a couple seasons now, love it. Very durable, has your measurements on the front, so you can measure ice, measure fish, whatever you need to measure. So now we're gonna get into my auger. Pretty basic, a lot of people run this, or at least a version of this. So this actually was a Strike Master hand auger I got for 40 bucks 5 years ago. I bought a little adapter piece to convert it into having the drill bit up top, so that way I can take my Milwaukee and use it as an electric drill. Pretty good way to obviously get into an electric auger. You can typically get these drills for pretty reasonable compared to the Eskimo E40, the Ion Alpha, whatever the case may be. But great substitution, also very lightweight, very packable, so good use. Next on the list is this Eagle Claw rod case. Very hard, very durable. I've had this for a couple seasons now. I love it. Fits 6 rods. Even has some areas on the end to store jigs. You got storage underneath these rods too, because it does not take up the entire space. Open it up here. So like I said, we have 6 rods in here, and then I actually even have a extra rod in here, so we technically have 7. You got ends, storage on both sides. I have jigs over here with some plastics, and then I also have some other different spoons, jigs, split shot weights, hooks, swivels, bobbers, extra line floating. So I really do enjoy this case. It's very nice. Fits a lot of stuff. Fits all that I need. All right, so before we get into the very cool electronics over here, which probably most people actually are concerned about, I want to show kind of something that I did with this traditional Jetsled. It's the Eagle Claw Jetsled. So first things first, I do have the tow hooks on the front installed. I do have the tow bar for when we do take out the Ranger when there is safe enough ice. I also have a extended rope on here that I made with traditional paracord. For those of you that don't know, it is extremely nice to have a longer cord. It makes it a little bit easier to pull instead of being, wrapped up. You can just wrap it around your chest and walk. So very nice, highly recommend it. Very cool feature that, most people do. So on the other side, what I've done is I have put 2 L brackets on the back of this, reinforced by wood, just because for this purpose, I like to bring, sometimes I like to bring a little bit of extra gear and bring a tow down. So this is a typical tow. I $12 tote at Walmart, wherever you want to get them from, Lowe's. But this will sit on these L brackets just like that. You know, and I actually have holes drilled into the side and bottom, so you know, you are able to just take bungee cords, wrap it up, make it nice and sturdy on there. I typically will throw like the heater or, you know, whatever on the back of this. So it's very durable, very strong, works great. Now in this tote, I usually only bring this tote when I'm ice camping or anything like that, or if I'm doing like an all day thing and I want a little bit extra stuff. But I have some ice covers. I also have a fan, big fan of the HeatHog series by Eskimo. I have this kind of table piece, if you might, holds your phone, water, jigs, tools, whatever you want. It's got little slits in there for tools. Very cool, very nice to have. I also have their rattle reel from Eskimo, also on the HeatHog accessories. Eskimo, if you're watching, probably not, but HeatHog series, would love some accessories. I do plan on getting the overhead light and attaching it to the Shanty, just because I do have the blackout version. I don't have those white walls, so putting a little bit extra light in there is pretty crucial. So on top of that, I also have 2 tip-ups in here. I'm just running, you know, fray bill and clam traditional tip-ups. Work very well with these ice covers. No need to overcomplicate things and everything like that. So very cool thing that I think I added to the Jetsled. I don't see a lot of people adding on L brackets to the back of theirs. I see a lot of people adding accessories to the side, which again is also cool, but you know, like I said, something cool that I have not seen yet on another person's Jetsled. All right, now time for what everybody probably is more curious at, is my electronics. I am running the Garmin UHD2 93SV. I had this on a custom built box that I built for $100 out of the ABS acrylic plastic. You can get it at Lowe's, you can get it on Amazon. It's really not that bad. I did put a couple days into work just tweaking kind of a couple things, but other than that, it's awesome. So I don't need to be spending, you know, the $200 that a new shuttle are on the market for. Although if one of you companies want to send me one to test out, I'm not going to complain. I just don't want to pay that when I just took a couple extra hours and put it in myself. So on here, I am utilizing kind of some original pieces that come with the Garmin Livescope bundle. I do have the original handle that I mounted on here to wrap the cord around. And obviously, I'll give you guys a closer look up too. I do have some pole mounts on top of the handle. So that's very cool. I am running an Amped Outdoors lithium 30 amp hour 12 volt battery in this thing. It's great. It allows me to pretty much do 2 consecutive days on this 93 size screen of, you know, using it all day. And so that's pretty nice because most of the time I'm in the car and I get to charge this thing up anyways. So kind of give you a quick little overlook around it. You know, you got your black box at the back of it here. You have all your cables. I have a slot in the middle. And then, you know, it looks like every other shuttle on the market, but I made it myself for half the price. So, you know, here, I'll give you guys a close up. So as you can see here, you know, we have the unit, we have the original Garmin mounting bracket, which I'm pretty sure if you go to buy any new shuttle, that's going to be the case. You're going to have to reutilize that. There will be mounting brackets on there, but you know, here's our front plate. I eventually will add in some, you know, a voltage meter, a USB port, maybe a glow cup for jigs. But other than that, here you can see kind of some of these brackets that I have put on there. I want to say they're like a broom holder from Amazon for $14, pack of 4, maybe even probably less than that. So those are really cool. 2 screws, drilled it into the top, boom, done. I do have a neoprene cover on my LS32 sonar unit, and then this I want to say is, again, not a name brand pole, but found it on Amazon for $100 and it does the job. So I'm very excited to get this out. Like I said, I just built this a couple days ago. You can kind of see where the cords are running in and out of there, but very excited. So that is what I am rocking this year. All right, well, that kind of wraps up my gear list. You know, if you guys are kind of interested in anything, let me know. Other than that, you know, I hope everybody has a safe ice fishing season. I hope you guys catch your PBs. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to, you know, learn more about anything else, let me know down in the comments. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, because we will be posting videos every Friday around 7 p.m. CST time. So we're going to try to be as consistent as we can with that, and hopefully you guys are all following along.